Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, one thing I'm very excited about is I can honestly say since I've started the channel and been covering boxing, this is perhaps the most consecutive back to back heavyweight news that I've provided, meaning there's a lot to talk about. Like, I've always talked about the heavyweight division, but it's in spurts. It's 1 month I'll talk about whatever the current trending topics are, and then there won't really be any heavyweight news. But I really feel like I've done consecutive heavyweight videos in a short period of time, which means the heavyweight division, it's back and it's buzzing and people are excited for it and people are looking forward to it. They're looking forward to different plethora of matches that can be made, things of that sort. I just did a video about Deontay Wilder, Bomb Squad. He called out Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua yet again. He says he wants a mega unification fight. He wants to fight Joseph Parker first, and then both fighters, or the winner of that fight, go on to fight Joshua as the creme de la creme in the end of the year, which falls in line with what Eddie Hearn said. Now, shout out to Sky Sports. Link in the description. Sky Sports UK British boxing has been phenomenal right now, and Joshua, his star power has risen, even dealing with adversity, even getting knocked down. Because to me, and this is what I always said about, for example, Gennady Golovkin, I never seen Golovkin face a level of opposition like a Klitschko in his division. Obviously, I'm not talking about Golovkin at middleweight versus a heavyweight, but I'm saying a Klitschko type person who has been dominant for 10 years and had a bunch of belts, and even though he recently lost to Tyson Fury, a person that's reputable like that, you know what I mean? And seeing him battle some adversity to see how well he deals with it. Someone who's actually pushing him back for consecutive rounds and could deal with his power, things like that. Things that Klitschko did well versus Joshua. Joshua knocked him down first and got overzealous and tried to pile it on, and Klitschko got stronger. Him being a veteran, him being a good fighter, he actually made the round, in my book, a 10-9 round in that 5th round, because he rallied back and had Joshua with no answer at the end of the round. So I thought he fought well enough and had enough time. Like, you got to look at it, man. That first, I see why, I mean, to a degree, it was, I told you it was kind of a rookie mistake on behalf of Joshua, but I kind of, to a degree, even understand from a fighter perspective why Joshua thought that the fight would shortly be over, because you had this man hurt. I don't know the exact time off the top of my head, but in round 5 you knocked him down, had him hurt, and there was still like 1 minute and 38 seconds to go or something like that, right? So that's a long time if you're already hurt and you're already getting knocked down. And Joshua having that type of power, still being relatively early in the fight, it seemed like he might be able to force a stoppage right then and there. But lo and behold, Klitschko pulled a bag out of his tricks. You know what I mean? A trick out of his bag. I think I said that wrong. And he was able to survive, and not only survive, in my opinion, rally back enough to make it a 10-9 round. And then the next round, round 6, drop Joshua and hurt him and have him out of energy and fatigue. So phenomenal fight. Joshua Klitschko was a great fight, and it was definitely a learning lesson. But I learned more in that. This is just my personal opinion. I learned more seeing Joshua show what it takes to hurt your man, then get hurt that same round, then the following round get knocked down, then get back up, and then be losing consecutive rounds. I had him losing consecutive rounds after the round 6. I thought Klitschko was coming on and the fight was swaying to the Klitschko way, and then still find a way to summon the energy needed to stop Klitschko in the 11th round. Again, a guy who hasn't been stopped in probably a decade. So to me, that shows more than like Gennady Golovkin versus Dominic Wade. And of course, I'm going to use Golovkin as an example because that's the one that comes to mind. And that's a person who is getting high level of praise without necessarily showing you everything and dealing with adversity. You know what I'm saying? If you don't deal with adversity and everything goes your way, then who knows? Like, I look at Golovkin's last fight with Danny Jacobs, that was some adversity, and some people thought he lost that fight. So to me, I learned more from Joshua. in a fight like this, even getting knocked down. That shows me his true grit. I learned more about, let's say, like a Floyd Mayweather in his fights with Zab Judah, Miguel Cotto, or Maidana in the first fight, because dealing with that adversity, or the Shane Mosley, that's another good one, that round 2. Even though Shane Mosley had really one good round, that shows me more. That shows me what Mayweather's built up from and made of. He took a monster shot from Shane Mosley and got better. That's not normal, you know what I'm saying? Clearly Mayweather's an anomaly, and I can't say Joshua is a little premature. He has, what, 19 fights or whatnot, but he showed me something, and I like that. But anyway, the heavyweight division is popping. Now on to the news. Eddie Hearn told Sky Sports News HQ that the Joshua camp, they're going to take some time off. And this is a direct quote from Eddie Hearn. I think every fighter, after going through a fight like that, the first thing they tell you the week after is they just want to get back in the gym and they're going to do this and improve on that. And they don't want too long to be laid off. Then after about 5 days, they turn around and say, I want to go on a holiday. So we are on that period. I saw Anthony was swimming this morning and shadow boxing underwater. I'm guessing in the next 48 hours, he will say, I want to go on a holiday. I need a break. So that will come. He says he spoke to Joshua's trainer, Rob McCracken, yesterday. October, November is probably the kind of date you will see Anthony Joshua back in the ring. Again, that's from Joshua's promoter, Matchrooms, Eddie Hearn. And I gotta say, I gotta give credit to Eddie Hearn. You guys know me on my channel. If you've been following me for any length of time, I simply criticize that that which I feel deserves criticism. And I give credit where I think credit is due. And I gotta say, Eddie Hearn, in the last few years, I like him as a promoter, right? Not that I didn't like him before, but last few years, he's put on some clever matches and he's holding it down. And I like, you know what I mean, Kell Brooks fighting Errol Spence. I like Eddie Hearn as a promoter, straight up. I've interviewed the guy a couple of times. Stand-up dude, you know what I mean? He's a promoter, so obviously he's going to sell you some things and tell you Eric Molina has a shot versus Joshua, even though some people don't. I mean, that comes with the territory, but I really like Eddie Hearn, and I think he's pretty brilliant in how he's managed Joshua's career. I seen him post, he posted something on his social media, and he basically said, he posted a throwback picture of him and Anthony Joshua 4 years ago during the press conference to Joshua's first fight, and to see them come from there to a couple years later, Joshua has 2 belts. He put on a Fight of the Year candidate. He showed his mettle, you know what I mean, showed his stones, showed he can bounce back from adversity, wants to improve. I think they've come a long way, and I really think that I like the way he's been managed by Eddie Hearn. I truly do. I think they were kind of bringing him along slowly, getting that confidence and fighting guys. When he was about the 15 to 16 and 0 mark, he was fighting guys that we knew he was going to easily beat, but he needed that. Mike Tyson had that the first year of his career. He was fighting a bunch of people that predominantly were getting knocked out early, first round knockouts and stuff like that, and then he upped the ante and became the youngest heavyweight champion that the world has seen. So I think Joshua is being guided along in the right way. And just to give you an example, and I'm going to keep using this example because it's like almost shocking that Golden Boy would do this, but you put a fighter like Anthony Joshua and then you talk about Francisco Vargas. Golden Boy had Francisco Vargas, who was formerly the WBC champion, and he had a grueling fight on the Cotto Canelo undercard. It was a late replacement. Andre Ward was supposed to fight on that card, but he got injured, so he got off the card. And then the fight was going to be Francisco Vargas versus a little-known Japanese fighter, Takashi Miura. And it was a hellacious war, back and forth. And I thought Francisco Vargas' eye looked terrible. And it looked like what Maidana did to Eric Morales' eye. Chris Algieri versus Ruslan Provodnikov, his eye wasn't holding up, and he nearly got stopped. Then somehow, some way, he musters up enough energy to stop Takashi Miura the very next round after it looked like he was on the verge of being stopped. And he made it through. Cool, you retained your WBC belt, you did it. The very next fight, you put him in with, Golden Boy put him in with Orlando Salido, a guy who's fought Juan Manuel Marquez, Robert Guerrero, Yuriorkis Gamboa, Mikey Garcia, is the only person to beat Vasyl Lomachenko as a pro, and we know how good Lomachenko is. And the list goes on, Juanma Lopez and Cote Keat Jim and all these other people, right? Rocky Martinez, and that's who you put Francisco Vargas in. Yeah, okay, some people say it's the fight of the year of 2016, but why rush your fighter like that? You know what I'm saying? You don't even know how his eye's gonna hold up. And then right after that, he just fought in January, and I know this because I was at the Mikey Garcia, Dejan Zlaticanin, Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz rematch on Showtime, and on that same night, this January 2017, you put him in there with Miguel Berchelt, a fresher, hungry Mexican fighter with nasty body shots, and then he ends up getting stopped. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right for the fighter. And I'm not about cherry picking. I'm all for competitive matches and the best fighting the best, but you got to give your fighter a fighting chance. You know what I mean? And you have to move them along in the right way. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they're not going to have any shelf life. So to relate this back to Joshua, I think Eddie Hearn, he's done that. The Klitschko fight, some people even thought it was prematurely, and you've seen there were little things, little holes in Joshua's fight game that he needs to tighten up, because maybe a more youthful fighter like Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury would be able to capitalize on some of the mistakes, or him being exasperated and having no energy. There's little things like that, but nonetheless, he still pulled the trigger and got it done. And I think a lot of it's a credit to how he was brought along. They weren't really rushing to put him into a title shot. They were just building his confidence. But then that Charles Martin opportunity presented itself with the IBF, and they'd be foolish not to take it, because Charles Martin was very unproven, and we didn't know what Charles Martin could do. So that was a good fight for him to take right then and there. He did it and became an IBF champion, and then they kept grooming him, put him in fights like, okay, Dillian White was probably his toughest fight before Klitschko, right? The guy who beat you in the amateurs. He avenged that. That only helps his confidence. You know what I mean? Fighting Gary Cornishes and Dominic Brazils and Eric Molina, and then you fight Klitschko. That's how it's supposed to be. Now you've arrived. You have all the experience. You just fought Klitschko. That's all the experience you'll need. That plus the other fights that you had. But this was probably the most important because it pushed you and it required you to do something a little bit different. You had to have a second win. Otherwise, you would have lost the fight. You know what I mean? So you had to save some energy in that tank and whatever you had to do to win. So the bottom line is I really like how Eddie Hearn has managed Joshua's career, and he's arrived now. So hopefully we get these big fights. Let me know who you want to see him fight in October or November. I also think that's a smart decision. After a tough fight, you don't put him back in there in the summer. You know what I mean? And if you did, it would be against a low-level opposition, which you don't want to see him backtrack. He just sold 90,000 with Klitschko at Wembley. So do we really want to see him fight against, I don't know, like a Tony Thompson? You know what I mean? Someone who he'd be favored to beat. You don't really want that. So he should be looking onward and outward to bigger pictures and the bigger fights from here on out. He has 2 belts, and now you have to be ready. You have 2 belts. You know what I mean? People want to unify. People are gonna, even people who aren't champions are gonna come for you. That's just the way of boxing. I heard Kubrat Pulev is gonna be a mandatory for one of the belts. Luis King Kong Ortiz was supposed to be the mandatory for the winner of Joshua Klitschko. So Wilder's calling you out repeatedly. You know what I mean? It's all eyes on you now. You're the belt holder. That's how the game goes. But I like this move. I think Joshua should rest up, chill out, go back to Dubai with his friends, and you know what I mean, just enjoy life. Come back October, November. Seems very solid after a tough and challenging fight. You guys let me know what you guys want to see and who should he fight on his comeback. Even Tyson Fury, I don't know when he'll be ready, but he can pop in. I mean, October, November is some ways away, so maybe he can get right by then. I don't know. He still has a hearing coming up with UCAD to discuss his licensing, and he has massive amounts of weights to lose. So let me know who you want to see Joshua fight next. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.